Well, good afternoon, everyone. I want to start by really thanking the organizers, all of your sponsors and attendees for this very important event. You know, we're here to try to find solutions to make our region the best region it can be for all of us really to enjoy. And building a partnership, we believe, is a good thing. So I want to start by asking this group some questions, and please accept them in the spirit that I'm going to offer them. And that spirit is we're trying to identify solutions to how to make things better for us. So let me start by asking some questions, okay? Who will make up this partnership that we're trying to create? What makes up the region that we're trying to promote? What are we going to offer outside investors? What are we going to tell them? Why are we attractive to outside investment? Is there anything special about us that we want to tell others? Well, what industries are here already, and which ones are expanding and growing? Also, what industries do we want and that we're able to serve that are not here? Why aren't they here? And what do we have to do to recruit them? What are some industries that are here that are not here, but we can't recruit because we don't have what they want? So what are we going to do about gaining those missing physical infrastructure assets that we're going to need in the future to attract them? I asked this question earlier. What are others saying about us? You know, we get a reputation whether we want it or not. And I think it's important that we know what others are saying about us already. Who is our competition? Who are we competing with to gain those people to come here? What is the message that we want to give? How and who's going to give it? How and who is going to contact those prospects when they want to visit here? Who receives them? All these questions we're going to have to answer if we're going to have a good program. So let me start with this. I mentioned what region do we want to support? Well, if we combine northern Mexico with the RGV, business people that we've been speaking to here through our CEO group tell us that this is the best region that we can promote that captures most of our essential assets that we need to attract outside investment. Do you want to put that slide on? You know what is found here? SpaceX. We have 3 seaports. We have 7 airports, of which 5 serve commercial carriers. We even have a medical school. We have 13 international bridges, of which 5 allow commercial carriers. We have universities and colleges, a large number of acute care hospitals. We even have an island, South Padre Island. We have a bilingual workforce, and we have many, many industrial parks. Do you know that we're made up of 3 very large economies? The US, Texas, and Mexico. So we believe that this region is one for us to consider, for us to promote, because regardless of where you fall into this region, if somebody's promoting this region, they're really promoting you. What are some of the other attributes of this region? Well, we have a low cost of living. We're 15% below the median amount. Do you know that we graduate over 15,000 high school students every year on the U.S. side? We have many large numbers of major manufacturing companies in foreign countries already here. Do you want to show that side so we'll come look at them? That's pretty impressive. Can any single city or any single area say this? We also are experts in logistics, foreign trade, and the movement of goods. Our population will exceed over 3 million people, and we are connected through the air, the ground, and even rail. And we have a very large medical service community, which you'll hear more about in a minute. Ladies and gentlemen, does this sound like a region we can promote? Válgame, are you all asleep already? I'm not as enthusiastic as Mayor Villalobos yesterday, the rah, 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 okay? Well, let's talk about our competition. So I'll put it on the next slide. Only in Texas, we have the Dallas-Fort Worth area, we have Houston, Austin, San Antonio, the Laredo area, and El Paso. All of these regions have certain assets to offer, and they contribute a large amount of money to market and promote themselves. So how do we compete with them for quality of life, physical infrastructure, workforce, access to higher learning? And you'll hear from Commissioner Meade in a minute, financial incentives. Let him tell you what it takes to bring an auto plant to this area. Well, here's the nice thing about where we are. We have not reached our full potential. But in order for us to do that, because we have lacked a comprehensive strategic plan that leverages all of our strengths of all of our regions while still addressing the challenges that we have with an excellent plan. I have seen many, many strategic plans made by multiple organizations and cities. And the problem always was who is going to execute the plan, especially a regional plan that has that much geography to do, okay? But regardless, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of whatever plan that we come up with, our strategy must align with Governor Abbott's plan for the RGV. Because without him and without the state, we can really not have all of the physical infrastructure and all the incentives that we need to be competitive. His plan includes, growing our economy, reducing the welfare costs that we have down here. We have a high percentage of people in poverty. For us to be able to attract outside investment and reduce jail population. Our jails are full of young people that come from broken homes. We have to develop a better workforce with better paying jobs. And of course, he wants to secure the border. So here are some of the steps that you may want to consider to get where we need to be. First, we must have all players engaged, both public, private, nonprofits, and educational institutions involved. We must also assess our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, the old SWOT analysis. Our weaknesses here include an unreliable source of water and power. I can tell you right now, that is my number one concern for us. We're going to have to figure that one out. We talked earlier, before coming here, about the brain drain. We are actually doing a fairly good job in creating human capital, but that human capital is migrating elsewhere because the jobs to reward them for that human capital are not found here. We also lack public transportation. Many of our people, many of our workers work on the outskirts of our counties, of our areas, where public transportation is not available to them, keeping them from doing certain things that they need to do. We have to look at affordable housing and healthcare. Austin wants to cut the budget for healthcare. We have 31% of the people that live in Hidalgo County are in some kind of government subsidy and need of that help. And we need to stop this negative rhetoric about our border. Mayor Villalobos said yesterday that McAllen was the safest city in Texas. And yet, some people think that we're afraid to leave our houses because we're in a dangerous situation. But our strategic plan must be specific with a proper matrix to measure either success or failure. Let's review the results of whatever we've been doing. You want to put up those things? I don't know if you can read this or not. These are the largest industries here in Hidalgo County. And let me read them for you real quick. Healthcare and social assistance, that's where our jobs are. Government, retail, trade, accommodations and food services, administration and support, waste management, transportation, construction, wholesale trade. That's where our jobs are. Let's look at the other slide. These are the industry jobs that are growing. Same classification: healthcare and social assistance, administrative support, waste management, educational services, accommodation for food services, and go down the list. Does that sound like a strong economy to you? We went from an agriculture agrarian economy to a service economy. We need to be better at creating the jobs that we need to reach the prosperity that we all want. That's our report card. These jobs, where do they come from? From the natural progression of the development of our area, or through efforts, economic development efforts? Think about that. So, what companies do we want here that we can serve? There are tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 companies. If we don't know what we want specifically, how can we go get that company to come here? Are we talking about biotech, micromanufacturing? What do we want and what can we serve if we're lucky enough to bring him here? And how and who is responsible to eliminate the weaknesses that we have? And we need to have, Texas helps us with the very much needed physical infrastructure that we're missing. Here, Daniel, is where the Rio Grande Valley Partnership can be a huge partner to us, to be our advocate in Austin and Washington for that infrastructure that we need. We must have a strong digital infrastructure presence to support our modern businesses. I got that from Carol. Our workforce development is a must. Let's produce and offer smart labor. This is where UT RGV, Texas A&M, South Texas College can really help. And we must be able to offer financial incentives. But in a regional geographical area like us, who pays for it? Who puts up the money for some of the incentives that we must give? We must have a very strong marketing plan and a brand development. What's the message that's going to deliver it? Here's where CoStep comes in. They do a great job and have a lot of experience in doing this. So CoStep is a great partner of ours. But we also must foster innovation. Robotics and automation are here. So either we keep up or stay behind. And finally, sustainability and resilience. We have to continue to think green, and we must be ready for disasters. And of course, we have to monitor and evaluate. All of these tasks that I have outlined here today are possible. As Carol said, whether we achieve them or not, it's our choice. But I can tell you that everything I read, everything I know about economic development in this region, we're stronger together. We're stronger together. Thank you for the opportunity to share that with you today.